All right. So, going live all over the place. I'm doing a new thing. I'm trying to be live on my Instagrams. On my hair is crazy today. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to figure this out, guys. I haven't figured out how to do this. Okay. I wanted to. I got a great question in my group. I got a great question. First of all, just let me preface this by saying I have started. Hey Val. Hey Victoria. Victoria, you've got to share in the group your amazing work, your artwork, and it's so perfect. And I just can't even say enough about it. And I want everyone to see it. I got a great question in the group, and I kind of wanted to talk about it. I have this new free video series. Many of you might have heard me talking about it. You can sign up for it on Instagram. It's just a link right in my bio. They're on Facebook and YouTube. There's links in there and in chats. So please sign up for it. You just put your email in and you get these videos from me. I worked really hard on them. And they're all about, I talk about fear, but what does fear keep us from doing? But moving forward towards our dreams. It keeps us stuck. It keeps us in these places of like a kind of this constant low grade anxiety that spikes sometimes and really grabs us and keeps us in a place that's not comfortable. Hey, Casey. Hey, Joshua, Jennifer. Hey, hi, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Freddie. Hey, Dirk. You guys are great. I really appreciate you being here. So, fear is insidious. We don't even know it's fear. It can look like confusion. It can look like overwhelm. It can look like perfectionism, procrastination, that feeling of being stuck, maybe even of being bored and not inspired in any way. You feel I know that I'm in fear when I am falling asleep, when I've got a lot to do, but I'm falling asleep. That's my brain is shutting down because it's too terrified and too overwhelmed. Does this make sense? Can you relate to any of this? Oh, I'm sorry. You're missing your nap. It can look like logic. Yes, you're being very logical, right? You're being very practical. This is fear. All right, so let's just step aside from the fear for a moment. And the question I got that I'm going to be answering more in my group, that's another benefit. If you sign up for these videos, you get an invitation to come into our brand new group called Magical Living, and it's on a new platform called Circle. We're really, really excited about it. I've moved my whole Patreon page over to Circle. So I'd love for you to come in and try it for free. Just come on in. And we're talking about how to tame this fear, how to work with this fear. I love everybody saying, we got to kill the fear, smash the fear. Fear's a part of you. Let's not kill it. It has a good purpose. But if we don't understand it, it can squish us like a giant dragon just taking one big step, smushing us or blowing fire on us, melting us into a puddle. So let's make friends with the dragon. Let's right size the dragon so it's just a little guy. And then you can kind of communicate with it and say, oh, what's up, what's up, what's up? So the question that I got that I wanted to kind of talk about a little bit today, and maybe you can play along. So the question I got was, what if you're having a really hard time making a decision? Such a perfect question. Such an insightful question. What if, and this was in the Fear Dragon group, so it's somebody who already understands, I think this is a face of fear. I think that there's something going on with me that's keeping me from making a decision. And of course, that's exactly right. So I would say, first of all, you take the steps that I outline for you in these videos. You start when you are, gosh, you know what? Honestly, guys, you should practice box breathing all the time. I love the crows in the background right here. They have this little hot spot on the palm tree. You box breathe to calm down the amygdala. The amygdala doesn't know the difference between having a really exciting, thrilling, fun fear and true fear. It doesn't know the difference between clean fear and dirty fear. I talk about that in the very first video. So even though you might be having fun and just going to a horror movie or doing a thrill ride in an amusement park, your fear will spike. The amygdala will start bathing the brain in stress hormones, shutting down your ability to think and putting all your resources into your body so that you can fight or flight. Right? It makes it hard to problem solve. You can't get creative and figure out what you want to do. So we always want to kind of keep that amygdala slowed down, and it is so simple to do. But who taught us this? Nobody. You just slow down your breathing. Now, there's a little art to slowing down your breathing. We don't want to stress the body out by going, that's still being in fear, and the amygdala is going to still do its thing. So what we need to do is slow the breathing in a gentle, sweet way for yourself, and then control the exhale so we don't hyperventilate. And that's why I like the box breathing. It might not be exactly be a box, it might be a little lopsided. It doesn't matter. The point is to do a nice slow inhale, suspend the breath for a while. Don't hold your breath, just suspend it. And then float for a little while. And when you feel like you need to, then you start to slowly let that air out. And at the very bottom of the box, you can kind of push the rest of the air out. So you can take a nice deep breath. And you can do this when you're at a party, when you're in a meeting, when you're waiting in line. No one need know. No one need know that you're doing this breathing, but it's keeping the amygdala quiet. Because as soon as we slow down our breath, the amygdala goes, oh, we must be safe. Because we're animals. We're the only animal that can do this, by the way, control our breath. So slowing down the breath in a nice, gentle way, and that's why I like the box breath, keeps us from hyperventilating and working too hard. And slowly, just practice this when you're not in fear, till it becomes a habit. Just let it become a habit. So you're standing in line, just practice your box breathing. It's very meditative. You're focusing on your breath, which is all meditation is. Helps the brain to relax and restore. Okay, so if you're trying to make a decision, or you're even approaching decision-making mode, start box breathing. Why? This will keep you in a creative process, as opposed to using resources that will shut you down. Does this make sense? Don't want to shut down your creativity right when you need it. The other thing I think it does is it helps us to access our intuition, our inner wisdom. Anytime you have to make a decision, start box breathing. Just that. All right? Practice that. Then, what comes next? Your box breathing, focusing on your breath. Drop your thoughts about the decision you have to make or any confusion you've got going on. Just drop the thought and just focus on the breath. You can focus on the feeling of the breath. And really notice slowing down. Not trying to slow down, but notice that you just are gradually slowing down. Gradually slowing down. Then when you slow down, set the intention. I'm going to get clear. I'm going to get clear. I'm going to listen to myself. I'm going to follow my intuition. So you're setting an intention to get clear. Keep breathing. Then the next thing I would do is to invite a conversation with the dragon. I highly recommend naming your dragons. Name your little wee dragon, name your big dragon. All of this is explained in the video, so please sign up. They're free. I worked really hard on them. And they come with PDFs and transcripts. So you slow down your breath. You set your intention saying, I'm going to get clear on this. I'm going to allow myself to get clear on this. And then you invite fear to the table. You say, okay. I love how Victoria put it. She invites her dragon to have a cup of tea with her. Have a cup of tea. Tell me what's going on. Get curious. I always say be kind and curious with yourself. Kind and curious. What's going on? Why am I confused? And you're going to start to get answers. I'm afraid of making the wrong decision. If I make the wrong decision, and then watch how you're going to go down into these rabbit holes. You're going to start spinning stories about making the wrong decision. That's what we do. That's what the brain does. That's totally normal. None of this is your fault. It's just learning how to work with your dragons. How to work with the brain. This is what the brain is designed to do. The brain is designed to spin stories. It needs no facts. It is not scientific. It loves to make up shit. So just know, okay, my brain's going to start making up some shit. So it's going to say, oh, it's too expensive, not enough time. What if you make a mistake? Blah, 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 blah. That's what it's supposed to do. That's how it keeps us safe. It keeps us on our toes in our cave. Yes, have a cup. Exactly right. So just say what's going on. And you're going to start to have a list of stuff that's going on. Anyone have any thoughts about that? Anyone have any? If you've tried to make a decision, put yourself in the shoes of trying to make a decision. And then start to imagine. And I want you to keep breathing, but imagine what comes up when you need to make a decision that feels very important. So it's not a minor decision, it's an important decision. Let's say it's an important decision. I want to study this, or I want to work on this. I want to move myself in this direction. I've got all these goals. Pick a goal. I want to push towards that goal. Maybe that's not the right goal. Isn't that interesting? It's interesting. Stay kind and curious. So you start to go towards a goal. And what does the fear dragon do? Distracts you. No, that's not the right goal. How about this goal? And you start to go, oh, maybe that's the right goal. So you go back to that goal. Now you're at a new goal. Oh, no. What about this one? Now you got a third one. You don't want to make a mistake. This other goal feels really good. Look, kids, as soon as you start pushing towards something you really, really want, it's going to get hard because there's a reason you don't already have it. Yeah? There's a reason you don't already have the goal, or you would have the goal. So you're going to have to overcome something to get to the goal. Does this make sense? And then it starts to feel hard and sticky and maybe scary and icky. And so then you go, oh, I'm going to go for that goal over there. And you switch. So you didn't finish. Now you've lost confidence in yourself. Even if you don't know that's what's happened, you've lost confidence in yourself. You build confidence by moving towards a goal and moving through your icky issues, all the stuff that gets in your way. By overcoming that, you start to build faith in yourself. You're getting stronger. You know that you can push towards a goal, even when it gets a little hard. I know, Todd. I think we can relate. I think many of us can relate. Here's another thing that I've learned in my ripe old age of 64 is that even when you make a mistake, you learn something really important. So it's almost impossible to go totally wrong as long as you course correct. I've made decisions that set me down the wrong course for 8 years. I know, I get it. I get it. You do your best. Well, Callie, I don't think it does depend on what it is. I don't think it does. I think that skill of making a decision is the same, whether it's buying pants, going out for pizza, or having a new job, or a new partner. I think the decision-making process is all the same. And it's about learning to trust yourself. It's about learning a process to say, oh, I'm in this place of indecision. Now what do I do? First thing is to make sure you're breathing in this box breath. That's a very nice way to start doing it. And you may have some tools that you do, like pros and con lists and things like that. Fantastic. There's tons of tools out there. But my job is to teach you about fear and using tools to help you move through it. A face of fear is indecision. It's fine to be indecisive in a moment and then work on making your decision. It's another thing if you're spinning in indecision or if it's an habitual issue for you, it's hard to make a decision. I know people, I dread going out to dinner with them. They can't make a decision over the menu. And we're sitting there for 20 minutes while they're trying to figure out what to do about what to eat. Come on. Right? That's when you know there's something going on. You need priorities, baby. But the first thing is slowing down your breath, staying creative and open to your own instincts, and then building trust in yourself. First of all, making a good decision, great. But I've learned more making bad decisions. I've learned more about what I needed to learn. I've learned more about my own abilities to overcome a bad decision. I learned more getting out of bad relationships that has served me now in the best relationship of my life. But I had to go through all those bad moments to get here. So don't beat yourself up for making a decision that didn't work out the way you wanted it to. Course correct. Learn. Move the fuck on. You can do the thing. Right. I think that's great, Callie. You use logic and intuition. Sometimes, though, if you're stuck, it sounds like you've got a system, that's fantastic. But for those of us who get stuck, then these are some things to consider. I would slow down my breath. I would focus on my breath, give my brain a break. Keep my creativity open, give my brain time to de-stress, get out of the liquid bath that the brain is in, let your amygdala slow down, get back to your creative process. Then invite your fear to talk to you. Say, okay, what's going on now? What's really beneath this? Sometimes you need an outside person to ask you questions. Say, okay, what's going on? What are you afraid of? What is the choice? It's this, it's this, it's this, and it's this. Okay. What would happen if you made this decision? What would happen if you made that decision? This one. The worst that's going to happen is going to learn something and then have to go back to one of your other choices. Fine. Now you're really clear. Isn't that helpful? And you've learned something. I promise you that once you learn these things, you'll never do that again. You'll know. You'll just have a better way of doing things. Now I'm simplifying this, and what I'll do in my group is go deeper and work with everybody to really kind of, answer questions and get specific. I just want to give you an example of a thought, of a way to start thinking about what's really going on with you and how that's just a face of fear. Oh, is that just fear? It's not really my logic. It's not really my perfectionism. It's not really me. No, it's not. The brain is not really you. You're so much more than your brain. Your brain is your computer. Well, Callie, it can if you don't recover from it. If you make a really bad decision and then you beat yourself up for it, yeah, Now you're gonna go down that rabbit hole. But if you make a really bad decision and you say, what happened here? I was thinking this. I did the best I could. I've learned something. Okay. Now I've got that experience. I know what not to do. That's helpful. But if you're like, oh my God, I suck so bad. I always pick the worst partners. I always do well, then yeah, now you're going to really question yourself. Stay kind and curious. Everybody makes bad decisions sometimes. Everybody makes mistakes. You have to. You have to. If you don't, you're not living life at all. It's better to make a bad decision than no decision. If you make no decision, you're making a bad decision. You've already made a bad decision. It's like being afraid to fail, so you don't do anything. Well, then you really already have failed, haven't you? So I am not trying to say be irresponsible. I'm saying do the best you can with the information you got right now. So let's calm down, first of all, so that our brain is working best it can. Let's restore the brain. And now let's get back to, okay, what am I really afraid of? Because that's super illuminating right there. Once you start to see what am I really afraid of, that sometimes dissolves it and makes things so clear just with that question. What am I really afraid of? Because then you can say, well, is that true? I'm really afraid that if I take this course, I will have wasted my time or I won't like it. I'll hate it. Well, is that true? No, you don't know that. So it's not true. I don't know that. So is there a way that maybe you could take the course and start the course and then change your mind? Well, of course you can. It's not written in blood, right? And you might feel bad, well, I've wasted some money. Well, okay. Great thing about money, you can always make more. You can't make more time, but you can make more money. And you do learn something. I really think that once you start talking to your fear, it's going to clear up 90% of the indecision. You start to ask it. Yeah. I've also found that once I've invested in a course of action, whether I'm investing time or money or effort or whatever it is, that I work harder. I've made this decision. Now I'm really going to I'm going to focus on it. You know what I mean? I cut loose the other things. I'm focusing on this. And so I really, really try. And I learn way more that way. Whether it's while this works or while this doesn't work, it doesn't matter. You learn. That's the important thing. You just have to get back. But what I love about that, Samantha, is that you're saying you fucked up so many times and you just keep getting back up. It means you're going to fuck up some more, which is great because you're living life, you're making mistakes, you're learning, you're moving on. And you know what? You're going to make great decisions too that turn out amazeballs because you tried. And that's what I want you to do is you're going to try. You're going to try and you're going to figure some things out. But that's the start of it. Just the first piece is to calm your brain down. Know that your brain's doing that thing. Now that you know that, so much is already going to start to loosen up and open up for you. You know? Stay creative. Do the things you know to do. It's like Callie was saying, use your logic. So that might be like pros and cons lists or something. And then you start to feel into what gets me excited. Once you open up and you relax, okay, can you feel, I just consciously opened up a little bit, my voice dropped, I relaxed. Can you hear that? Just a little bit. That's what'll happen for you. You'll just feel this. And now roll the options around in your head a little bit and see what gets you excited. What makes you go, ooh, that would be cool. That'd be really neat. Getting out of the logic part of your head and into that piece, because that's how you're being guided towards something. That's what you truly desire. And it may not be the logical thing. In fact, so often it's not. And that's maybe why we get fucked up and can't make a decision, because it doesn't really line up all the pros and cons. It's just kind of this other thing. It just feels so special. And that's more important than anything. That's how we know we're onto something interesting, something that's really could move the dial in your life. Yeah. Okay, you have 2 bad choices, but you still have to choose. That's right, Jennifer. The lesser of 2 evils. But that's not most of the time. And don't dwell on that. You know, why you don't need to dwell on that. Keep positive. Also know that everything changes. Everything changes. You're meant for so much. And I also want to acknowledge that you are coming out of a really tough time. It's been very confusing. And we wanted to stay safe. And it was just so confusing. You know, super confusing out there. But we're moving into a whole new phase. And I want to light the fire under your butts to start pushing forward towards your dreams again. Don't sit here anymore. We're done sitting. Stay safe, do your thing, protect each other. But now keep moving. Let's keep moving. So I think we've all been kind of spinning a little bit and stuck. That's a face of fear. But again, it's not your fault. This is absolutely understandable. Of course. So, oh, I'm so glad, Callie. Awesome. Oh, I'm sorry, Callie. You know what? You might not, that's not on you. That's on whoever did the, you know what? That's not on you. And a lot of us have been there. And I'm really sorry. We don't want to keep these things, you know, right, Callie? And speaking of one who knows exactly, I don't want that to define my life. I bet you don't want it to define yours either. So how do we keep moving? Well, we talk to our fear. We talk to our fear dragon. We get highly attuned to what we really, really want. And we get very strong. Yes. And we don't want to not make any decision. So how do you make a decision? Right. Right. Thank you, Benjamin. Very good. Right. So we create beliefs out of our experience. Most of those beliefs were created when we were still in the single digits. And then we don't question them because we don't even know we've done that. We don't know that we've made these beliefs. Or you can go through life and you have things happen and we make then beliefs out of other decisions, other events that happen to us. And we need to do that. We need to learn, we need to mature, we need to understand how to live life. We're talking about moving forward and how do you make a decision? And the first thing is to breathe, to calm the brain down, stay in creative place, let your brain restore itself, and then get in touch with intuition. I think it's really helpful to envision talking to the fear, and I envision fear as a dragon. Little fears, little dragon. Big fears, monster dragons. And I teach how to right size that dragon. I teach how to make it smaller. And then you can work with it. When it's big and just screaming in your face, then you're in crisis management. And I teach that too. And then once you get it the size of Norbert, as Benjamin says, then you can have some tea with Norbert and sit down and say, what's going on? What's this fear about? Where did it come from? Right? And is that running my life right now? So I'm letting my 14-year-old, who saw my father have practically a heart attack around taxes, I'm letting that 14-year-old belief system run my finances. That's fucked up. No, nobody needs a 14-year-old running their taxes. But I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know that was going on. All right. Thanks for listening. I hope this has started you to think in a positive direction. And remember to practice just the box breath. Just practice slowing your breath down in a gentle way. I think we make a big mistake by thinking forcing the body into slow breathing. That can also stress the body out. So gently start to stretch into a bigger, slower breath. Let it grow for you. Calm it down. And just focus on the breath. Feel the breath. Feel it, the temperature of the air moving into your body, and feel your lungs stretch. Feel your clothes move on your body as you breathe. Soften your gut. Just start to focus there. That gives the brain a chance to restore. It starts to go, I have a break here. I can just restore. I can recharge. It stops, the amygdala stops putting stress hormones into the brain case. And now it opens up. And now you can think a little better. And now you can get a little more creative. That's a great time to ask your intuition what's going on. Like, let's check in. What would make me excited? What makes me happy? Even if it's not the logical decision. That's really important to know, kids. It's really important to know what gets you excited and makes you happy. And then you can start to work with that. That's an important piece of information for you to put into the equation in making a decision. If your 14-year-old was a mathematical genius, I promise, Jennifer, they were not emotionally mature. So they still weren't the person you want in charge of making decisions. Does that make sense? If your 14-year-old is a mathematical genius, then you're still a mathematical genius. It's all good. That was never me, by the way. Never a mathematical genius. All right, kids, thanks so much for playing. I appreciate it. I love you. Have a great rest of your Sunday, wherever you are in the world. And let's make this next week just kick ass, right?